devalued things. But what I like about the handmade thing is it puts a tangible, something that's nice and valuable back into it. You know, all of a sudden it's not just a JPEG online. It's all of a sudden this nice, assuming the shots are good, presented work of art. Definitely, in a way. You know, and that is important. Now the box is a great idea because there's a lot of ways you can go with that. You can go metal if you want an edgy look. You can go wooden if you want something that's classy.
Yeah, I've seen all kinds from like the cardboard to the metal to transparent. Like plastic,
weird plastics,
right? And just you print this stuff on really thick paper, stuff that people can hold in their hands and it won't bend or anything like that.
I'm trying to think if there's an online resource for that. It used to be. Is Dick Blick still exist? They were an online. They were an art supply store, and I remember they were online at one point. I probably should do homework before I run the show, but Dick Blick, it was like the guy's name. It was big back in the day, and they at one point I know they had the metal portfolios and the wood stuff.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff online. I see stuff online all the time when I'm just looking around. And you go to Yahoo or Google or something and search for something like that. Stuff is going to pop up everywhere.
You'll find something,
especially if you're looking for something. I'm looking for a leather box or some kind of carrier or something that looks vintage or modern or whatever. You can narrow it down and find something very quickly. Even eBay, you could probably find a bunch of cool stuff.
That's true. And you don't need a bunch. You need one.
Right. You just need one, and you could get these prints made once again at one of these service bureaus like we're talking about, or even a place like a printer in town that's a small printer or whatever that can print on a thick, good quality paper.
Sure,
they can recommend to you. Or whatever.
I mean, in a minute ago I said inkjet, but inkjet can be a good thing. I mean, that's a decent technology. There's bubble jet, there's inkjet. Yeah, because I used to use what was it, Creative Type. I don't know if they still do print services.
Right. I was going to mention Creative Type. I don't know how many of those are.
I don't know if they're still around. They used to develop film at one point. I know they stopped doing that. But I'm sure they're still around because they went into making. They make trade show graphics. They do stuff like that, and they'll do something nice for you.
And they can do one-off anything.
One thing I failed to remember earlier is Moo. Moo.com.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't do a whole portfolio with Moo. But shit, you could do your business cards and stuff out of Flickr that way. And,
Moo is amazing.
Moo's awesome.
Great looking business cards. I think we may have mentioned them last week, but going the business card route, they do the little thin cards. They do the normal business size cards. They'll even, if you're not a graphic designer or anything, if you'll just send them in your information, they will design the cards for you.
And they do a pretty good job too.
And they do a really good job. They have some great designers on staff, and they will send you back your cards. And I'm seeing that's something new that they're doing, but I'm seeing more of that. It looks great. You had no identity before. Now you have a really cool identity.
A real designer did something. Well, that's another show we could do too.
But they also do postcards. And you wouldn't have to use them to mail. You could use them as your portfolio and stick them in something that that postcards could go.
I cleaned my desk, but I had some made. But it couldn't be easier to use them. Yeah, they're in England.
Yeah,
the shipping is reasonable though.
You wouldn't know they were in England though because it's coming.
No, you go to Flickr or actually you go to Moo.com and then it'll intertwine with your Flickr account, and you can pull that. Which is another reason that actually I upload pretty high resolution images to Flickr to give myself that. I didn't used to. I just thought, I just don't need to. I'll just resize it.
My highest resolution.
I go full res on Flickring. Well, why not? It's $35 a year, full res, and then Moo has print quality if they need it. And I just print them out online, and they look outstanding. I've never had a crappy job.
And it is so easy. If you're on Flickr, you go to Moo. They ask you to pull up your Flickr account with your password and everything, and all your photos show up. And if they're high res, they just transfer.
I think it's click and drag or something.
Click and drag, and
it tells you if they're not big enough.
I currently have, and they're using them for their portfolio to show it at trade shows and online and everything. Some of my cards, but I had a different picture or photograph on every single business card that I printed, and so like 50 different.
You didn't used to be able to do that.
No, not at all. That'd be impossible. Yeah, you would have to have the same image on every card or whatever, for a printing place.
Or a run of 100 at least.
Exactly.
So if you're getting 1,000 cards, you might be able to do.
So I got 200 cards total, but every 50, there's 50 different images on the cards. So that just keeps repeating. So
that is so awesome.
Something very cool.
Yeah. No, Moo is definitely worth the time.
In fact, when I pull out my business cards at the end of doing either a photo shoot or just meeting with a client for the first time, if there's several people in the room, and I pull out my business cards and they see 4 or 5 different business cards, all of a sudden everybody turns into little kids and they're like, I want the one with the ice cream cone on it. Oh, I want the one with the taxi. And things like that. It's kind of fun.
That's awesome, actually.
Cool. And so it's like you can customize it too, giving people a business card that kind of relates to maybe what they do.
I was about to mention, I was at a conference in Denver a couple months ago, and I met Julie Beeler, who is co-owner of a design group called Second Story, who are like rock stars, I always love their work. Very humble people, though, and they have cool business cards, and everyone was different. And they had they're designers, so they had a certain theme. They were these vintage illustrations of like elephants and so all of a sudden she's she's like, oh, you want a business card? And I said, yeah, sure. She goes, what do you want? She pulls them all out, and then you said, it's a conversation that you're having right there with
Sure,
the
it's
person.
fun.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard giving people your business card because you're just meeting them, but that's another element that can drive a conversation and exchange.
It's a big element because business cards have become so passe now.
I don't want one, honestly. Most of the time, I don't want one.
I've had people
but I wanted one of Julie's.
Right, but if they're super cool, it's like anything else that's super cool. You kind of want one to hang on to it, put it on your desk.
Sure.
Put it with your pile
I'll put
of
it this way: even if I need one from somebody, I don't want it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like if wait, I gotta call you later. Do you have a card? I don't want a card. Send me an email and send me your number. I want it on the computer. I don't want it. It'll go in that pile and get lost.
Right.
This place is messy.
Right.
You know,
So it's going to have to be unique. It's going to have to be something that you do want because it's cool, because you want to hold on to it, because it's something that you really dig.
Well, what I wanted to say to Julie was, well, can I have all of them?
Yeah.
These are all so
I'll
awesome.
take one of each.
Yes, I'll have the lot. You know.
Well, it's cool. Moon makes all these cool little accessories too. They make these frames that you can put all your different business cards in and like display it on your office desk.
They're unusual, yeah.
They make these little card holders that are made out of plastic and leather that you can stick all the cards in there. That are just super cool. I mean, you just you look cool. You look like it's like the old cigarette case thing. You just kind of look cool to get your cigarettes out of that. Yeah, instead of the cigarette pack.
Cigarettes.
Now you're
Or
pulling
business
your
cards.
business cards out in this cool little funky thing or whatever. So there's lots of things that they sell that are extra accessories like that that are pretty cool. Yeah.
You could roll your photos up like cigarettes. And that could be your portfolio. Delivered to you by a circus monkey. You know, it was funny because like a lot of that got really big probably early 2000s just in the graphic design world, as everything had this opulent box.
Yes.
You know, and it was just kind of funny. And delivered by a circus monkey.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of covered a lot about portfolios.
Yeah, I mean, some of our listeners may have stopped listening 5 minutes ago.
Probably, well, 5 minutes in.
I meant 35.
Yes. Well, you know, I think the one last thing I would say about all this is just like, you know, this is not a topic that's interesting only to people starting out. I mean, there are people who've been in this business, and you're always tweaking that portfolio. It's an ongoing thing. You're always looking for something new, something unusual, something different. I do it all the time, and you know, I think it's just worth a discussion worth having. Go get people to show you their portfolios. Just say, hey, I want to start as a photographer, and you know, find a veteran out there and say, what do you show when you show work? And get, you know, if you need an idea, start something.
It's just like photography or graphic design or any other kind of creative, you know, thing like that. It's something you're always learning. That's never perfected. That is never going to be. It's always going to be changing. So you're always going to be needing to learn how to make your portfolio better, how to present it in a new way, especially with technology and things these days. Things are changing so quickly that we're constantly trying to think of the newest, coolest way to show off our book,
totally.
no matter what that is. So it's just something you've got to stay on top of. And another great thing is just to always be seeing what everybody else is doing out there. Go to the sites that you like, and then find out, you know, what website manufacturer made that website for that person, or who designed it. You saw a cool book, or you saw a cool portfolio that somebody had. How did they do it? Where did that come from? And